Thank you. I'm Christina Spinay. This is Jakub Czupinski. We're composers and co-founders of Blind Ear Music. Jakub and I met while we were doing our masters at Juilliard. We were both at a point in our studies where we had to decide what we were going to do for a compositional career. We could either spend 5 more years at school pursuing a doctoral degree, or we could go out into the real world and become musician entrepreneurs. Either way, guaranteed us a life as a starving artist, so we decided to form our own ensemble and re-envision the concert experience by combining new technology with new music. Jakub designed this incredible software that makes it possible for us to send music live to musicians. Instead of composing a piece from beginning to end, blind ear composers write a set of loops. A loop is a short segment of music, a short phrase, that repeats. Loops are used a lot in pop and electronic music, and we've borrowed this idea and transposed it to the concert stage. So the composer operates the central computer, as you see here, and sends the loops to the musicians. The musicians, in turn, read the loops on their laptop, which are notated as standard music notation, and they reinterpret it back to us. They repeat the same loop until the composer sends them a new one or tells them to stop playing. So this creates an ever-changing atmosphere. We can change the tempo, we can change the form of the piece, the instrumentation, all at a moment's notice. It allows us a lot of flexibility. The musicians each have a click track where they're hearing the tempo of the music. So we could have them all play the same tempo, or we could have them play different tempo. Jakub was manipulating the tempo in this first piece. So let's say he sent a loop to Victor and Johnny, who are on glockenspiel. They started playing the same thing. And little by little, if you change the tempo of one of the musicians, the loops start to pull apart. So it creates this echo kind of stereophonic effect that would be very complicated to notate in standard composition. It would be hard to practice because it's a very precise thing. But because they have the click track, it's very easy to do. And then Jakub, with the click of a button, can bring them back to beat 1 very easily, which is a wonderful technique. We love doing this phasing as composers. It's something that makes it a 3-dimensional work. We could also send text messages to our musicians. So we can tell them, it's fun, we can tell them to play up an octave, we can tell them when to begin, when to end. Some musicians like to improvise, so we can just type improvise and they'll start doing their own thing. If we wanted one of them to have a solo, they could do a solo. If someone's out of tune, we could send them, a little nasty email, but we never do that. Our musicians are always wonderful. And this is truly amazing to be able to communicate during a performance to our musicians. We really get to play off of one another and highlight the strengths of the ensemble. In every era, new technology shapes and develops the direction of contemporary arts, making it easier for artists to communicate their vision. Blind Ear allows composers to take advantage of this and to communicate with musicians in real time, and allows flexibility to create a unique soundscape at the click of a mouse. I would like to thank Sandbox Percussion for being with us this evening. And as you hear this next set, see if you can distinguish what techniques Jakub is using as he manipulates his loops. Thank you.